Welcome back to another stream. Welcome to another stream. A stream that I have been honestly so dying to do. A stream that I've been wanting to do all day, and I've been, just giving myself time. But this is the aftermath of the Crazy Chaos event number two that took place in Oik on Saturday, the Saturday that has just gone. And I put wow in the title because all I'm going to say is wow. Well, I'm going to say a lot more, obviously, but wow. What I like, I'm like, I can't even believe that this is real and that this even happened. That's kind of how much of a wow that we're going with this one. So this whole entire weekend has been one of the craziest, amazing, funniest, enjoyable, exciting, mind blowing, shocking. It's just been everything in good ways, all in one weekend or all in one weekend. So I'm gonna take you through the whole story of the weekend, and I don't care if we stream for an hour, I don't care if we stream for 2 hours, I don't care how long I babble. This for me has been absolutely mind blowing, and I want to share the whole entire story. I want to document this whole thing down, whether people watch, whether people don't watch, whoever comments, comments, whoever doesn't. So, for those of you may or may not know, back in March this year, I took a trip to Oik, to a place called Oik, which is a little town sort of in between. It's in between Carlisle and Edinburgh, and it's just a small, average town. Nothing really, it's got its own unique perks to it, but it's like any other town. There's a Morrison's there. There's shops that I could go out into the city centre of Hull and see. But it's a really nice little town. There's some really nice parts to it as well. Beyond. But I think if you go to every town, you're more or less going to see things like a Morrison's and a Betfred and a William Hill and a today's local or like a Spar shop or something. I think that's kind of that's just the world we live in. So I went to Oik back in March and I played for an event called Crazy Chaos. So Crazy Chaos is a Facebook page online and a group that do weekly live streaming. So essentially, you join and you become a part of this page, and every day from Wednesday through to Monday, they have a day off on Tuesdays. You can take a slot on this page and you live stream on this page, and essentially this page raises money for charity, so for like cancer and things. And like I said, they live stream all through the week apart from Tuesdays, and people send stars into the live streams. And when people send stars, the page basically generates money, so the page makes money. And then the money that the page makes, they basically go to charity. So all the money that the page makes just basically goes to charity, and all for a good cause. Now, back in March, they put a launch event on that was it was mind blowing. It was one of my at that point it was my favorite gig that I had ever done. And then there was some like sets sort of later on in the year that kind of like took over that. The event itself was still one of the best events that I've been to, But then back then it was the best sort of set that I'd ever played in a nightclub. And then there was a couple of other events that took over, and and I'd played sort of what I thought was better sets in them sets, on them gigs. But it was a really good event, and I always, I look back on it, and I just need to grab something quickly as well. But yeah, I look back on it, and it was an amazing experience. So a couple of months down the line, sort of from obviously that beginning event, and they started to put the wheels in motion to do it again. And the launch event was raising money for charity as well. So everything the page does is basically money goes to charity, and they do a lot of work for charities, and they've raised some incredible funds for charity that has gone to charity. So I know there's Neil's Foundation is one of them, and I can't remember the name of the other charity, but I will tell you in just a second. And oh, that is actually gutting. Oh, that's a shame. But yeah, so Beston Cancer Charity. When I arrived at the gig yesterday, well, on Saturday, they gave me a flyer in a frame, and I don't know how well you can see, but the frame's actually cracked. That is gutting. That is gutting. It's actually formed a crack. The glass. Oh, that's a shit. The glass has actually come. The glass has actually broke. It. Oh, that's really gutted me actually. Um, It'll still go on my wall, but yeah, it's got a crack in it, so I might have to try and replace the frame at some point. Anyway, so they gave us this. Which is absolutely amazing, like a little sort of thing, the flyer, and to put on your wall and stuff, which is really good. And then they also give us Crazy Chaos t-shirts, which is really nice as well. So last time when I went up in March, they gave us a black one, and then this time, obviously coming up this time, us a white one. So the one in March was really good, but obviously we want to talk about the September one. Obviously March was just to give you a bit of context. So they did it all again in September, which was this Saturday just gone, and I'm going to take you through the whole story, because the whole story is just a really fun weekend, but really enjoyable. So last time when I went in March, I travelled up with my mum and my mum's friend. He drove us, and that in no offences, like if they watch this, like no offences, but it was a mistake. Like I kind of regretted it, because trying to get my mum ready and trying to get her prepared to go to this event, which, bearing in mind it's in Scotland, so it was nearly 4 hour drive, and I was telling her for days, I was telling her for weeks on end that like when we were like sort of 2 weeks away, I was telling her, like, you need to be ready, because we're gonna have to set off early in the morning. And what happened in March is loads of people went down on the Friday, so they went on the Friday to check into like this sort of big castle place where we were staying, and they all just essentially had a load of fun on the Saturday, and then had a load of on the Friday, and then did everything on the Saturday, and then did the event and had this wicked time. And we drove up, and we got there quite late, so we arrived at like 6 at night, and then we had to sort of go to the club for 8 o'clock to do like the sound checks and everything, and then we woke up, went for breakfast the next day, and we were kind of going home. So I kind of regretted it, because I wanted to, it was my first time going up there. I wanted to make a little bit more time of it. So this time I decided that I was going to look at some other travel options. Now, Oyk itself, they haven't had a train station since the 60s. So, getting a train to Oyk, you can't get one. Like, you have to go to another town and then get some other form of transport, whether that be a bus, whether that be a taxi. When I'd done it last time, I think I underestimated, I think I overestimated, should I say, like how easy the travel actually was. Like, I just thought, shit, the town doesn't have a train station. How am I going to get there? So this time I booked a train to Carlisle. So you get a train that goes directly from Hull to Leeds, and then from Leeds there's a direct train that takes you to Carlisle. Now, it takes about 3.5 to 4 hours, and then when you get to Carlisle, there's an actual bus called the Border Bus, and it's the X95, and essentially it goes from Carlisle to Edinburgh, but it stops at Oyk on the way. So you can get this bus, and within about half an hour to an hour, you're in Oyk, which it's not bad at all, and it literally like stops right outside the Morrisons in Oyk, which is probably about 5 minutes away from where we were actually staying. So it wasn't a bad thing at all. It was really good actually. So so I decided to do that this time. So I booked my train on Saturday, and I set off really early. I set off at like 5 to 8 in the morning, which is the earliest I think I've ever set off for a gig. We apart from the Harder Southwest Fest, I know we set off early for that. But yeah, I set off at 5 to 8. That was leaving the station on the train. I got to Leeds somewhere around 9 o'clock. And then the train from Leeds to go to Carlisle was something like 20 past 9 or something, and I got into Carlisle at something like it was something like 3 minutes past 12 or something like that. I think it maybe came in just like ever so slightly later, but nothing. It was only a matter of a few minutes, nothing to really complain about. And then it was just a case of jumping on the bus to Oyk. So one of the other DJs, he was also coming up on the trains as well. So we met at Carlisle. So he got into Carlisle more or less at the same time that I got into Carlisle, which was really good. I think he got into the station like maybe a matter of 2 minutes before I did. Then I got in, and then we met each other, and we got the bus together. And luckily, we came out of the train station. Now, me, when it comes to travelling, I always prepare myself for travelling. So I always have a little look on Google Maps, sort of like look where do we need to go. So I knew obviously like coming out of Carlisle, I knew that we had to walk about 3 minutes to get the bus. So I had a little look on Google Maps, like, a couple of days before, and just kind of got me wits about where I need to walk. And I knew that we went past the Nando's, and then got off, and then, I met Peter, who was also DJing on the night, staying at the same place we was. And he was like, "Wow, I'm glad you know where you're going." And you've got to do it, haven't you? When you get in trains and buses, it's always like it's always good to be prepared. So anyway, luckily when we come out of the station and headed up towards the bus, there was actually a bus just coming into the stop. So we literally more or less, we were not in Carlisle for long. And we were straight on the bus. And the bus, like I say, probably took about half an hour to an hour. And then we got to Oyk. So we got off at the Morrisons, and we was a little bit early. We couldn't check in from to the hotel yet, so we had to go and do that. But what I want to tell you about is the train journey. So this is where this awesome weekend first kind of started for me. So we get on the train to go to Carlisle from Leeds, and it's quite a busy train. You know, there's a lot of people on it. So I get sat at a table. I always like to sit on a train at seats with a table, and yeah, I'm sat there, and there's a couple of people that have come and sat near me, and I got like a really bad vibe off them. There was a person who sort of came and sort of sat next to me, sort of had no choice, but really just looked as if like she didn't want to sit next to me for some reason. I don't know if it was the fact, you know, my headphones were maybe a bit loud, or I don't know what it was, but she had this bad vibe against her. And then basically the seats opposite me, like the other side of the table, they cleared. And she, like, literally, I've never seen somebody move so quick in all of their lives. And literally, not long after that, a woman and her daughter came and came up to the table and asked the woman if you know she minded moving back and sitting next to me, so like she could sit next to her daughter. And then obviously this woman had no choice. So that happened, and then this woman got off, luckily, and was replaced by this oldish man who was an absolute gentleman. He was a really nice guy. So we get travelling along this railroad, and he starts, you know, he's a real talkative guy. He's somebody who's real just intrigued about people's stories, and real just, you know, you can tell he's just a real nice guy. He likes travelling. So he starts giving us like history lessons on the railroads. You know, and I know like a lot of modern and young people might find it a bit like weird and boring, but it was actually quite interesting. And he started saying about like, you know, like we're coming up to a viaduct, and we're going to go over this big viaduct, and just having a real you know, just having a real good sort of conversation. And then the woman and her daughter, we all sort of joined in, and we're all having this like really good conversation. And I turned the headphones off at this point, and I totally just, you know, we'd gone to having this conversation, and you know, where is each of us going, and all this, and we just had this really good vibe. And then the funny thing is, I kind of got adopted into this like into the family, and this like staff member on the train come by with a drinks trolley, offering like tea and stuff, but it was like it was cash only, it wasn't card, and I had no change on me, and the woman like offered to buy me a cup of tea. And I was kind of like, you know, like at first I was a bit like, nah, you're all right, like, you know, I don't want to put you out, kind of thing. But then she insisted, and she had enough change, and got me a cup of tea, and we're all just nattering. And I've got to be honest, like I've done a lot of train journeys over the years, and that has by far for me been one of the most enjoyable train journeys that I have ever done. Like it was brilliant. Like we were just talking, and we were just having a laugh, and we were just having a really good conversation, and it just, you know, like it made the train journey go so fast. I wanted to add that in because it was so sick. So yeah, so I got to Oik, met up with my friend. I needed the toilet really badly. And I got to Carlisle, and I was thinking I need to find a toilet, and I knew there'd be one in the station. But at the time, like I was trying to look out for Pete as well, and we was meeting Pete, and then I was kind of like looking for toilet signs, and then I couldn't see one, and then the plan was, is in all honesty, like I was gonna go and find a Mackey's or something, and go and like take a piss, or go into like a Weatherspoons and maybe get a bit of dinner, and you know, and then and grab the loo there. But then we saw the bus, so we got straight on the bus. So I was all the way from Carlisle to Oik, and I needed the toilet like really badly. Yes, well, I'm more a DJ. I've done MCing, but I'm a DJ. Um, so yeah, I'm on the bus, needing this loom. We're getting closer to Wycombe. I'm thinking I've really got to go. Stops us outside Morrison's. I'm texting one of the other DJs because, you know, we got there early, so we couldn't check into where we're staying yet. So I got in there early, and he was already there because he doesn't actually live that far from Oik, so it's not really a far drive for them. And they were already in the Morrison's car park, so they're like, we'll meet you there. And basically, I got off the bus, and I didn't even notice that he was they were stood right there waiting for me because I was so focused on needing the toilet. But then we saw them put, my bags in their car and stuff, and went into the Morrisons and had a loo, got some dinner because I needed a bit of dinner. Which, in all honesty, it was a nice dinner, but really like it's a rip off really. Like what you pay and what you get. Like it was nice, but it's not filling. Like you needed like I got sausage and mash, and you need more mashed potato really. You need more gravy. You just need a bit of a bigger portion, like really small. So you eat it, and when you first eat it, you feel like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm full up now. But then, 15, 20 minutes later, you feel peckish again. And, it's not a big meal that really sets you for the day. So it wasn't really that sort of filling. But it hit the spot because I hadn't, I had a bit of toast before I left home. Had some breakfast, but then I didn't have anything else until then. And this was about sort of 2 in the afternoon, so I was getting hungry. So we did that, and then we checked into the Crazy Castle, big castle, absolutely amazing place, by the way. It's just all I can say is it's like a massive apartment. And there's like a big living room. Then you've got a big dining room. You've got a kitchen. So you just basically like you rent it out for the weekend or however long you want to stay there for. I'd imagine it's so much a day. And basically you just cater for yourself. So you make your own food. It's just like it's just like your own flat really, but it's like a really big place, and it's probably got about 7 or 8 bedrooms or something like that. I think it sleeps seven, like and or each room has like a double bed in it. So there's that I'm aware of. I think there's 3 bedrooms downstairs, and then I think there's 4 bedrooms upstairs. There's 2 bathrooms, but one bathroom's like a bigger bathroom. And then you get like a living room, and then you get like a dining room and a kitchen. So it's a really big apartment place, really nice. Gives you a little bit of a view of Oyken. It's about 2 minutes away from the club, so it's really close to the club. So we got there. We checked in, which essentially, we just opened the door and everything, and let ourselves in, and there wasn't really that much to really do, so we just kind of like put all our bags down, and and just sort of got comfy, and then we was all just sort of really having a laugh and chilling, and obviously, for some people it was their first time coming. Other people had been up in March, and so some of us had already met before, and some of us, we were meeting for the first time, and yeah, we just sort of really began having a laugh, just having a really good laugh, and just really just having a few drinks. There was loads of like cans of popping, like Iron Brew, bottles of Pepsi, tea, coffee. There was bread. There was a whole. They went shopping for supplies basically, and really filled the crazy house up, if you like, and it was really nice. And you were never really short of, like, if you just wanted to have a packet of crisps, or you wanted to make yourself a warm drink or get a cold can out the fridge, you were never really short of doing that. So we all kind of like just chilled and talking, and like I said, they gave us that photo frame, and I'm gutted it's cracked, but we had a really good laugh. And then Crazy, the guy who puts the event on, set his decks up in the Crazy, where we're staying. And people who were like playing on the night, they could just check that their USB sticks were working and loading, which was really good. And then obviously we could, make sure that everything was going to work in the club, as we were using the same decks in the club. So we did that, and then we realised like, oh shit, time's getting on, so we better decide like what we're going to do for tea. So they bought loads of pizzas in. So we got all these pizzas in from Donimo's. There was like sausage, bacon, and chips on top of a pizza. There was margarita. There was pepperoni, which was just absolutely banging. And the best part about it is there was quite a few people there that didn't like the garlic dip. Now, me, like barbecue sauces, garlic dips, sauces like that, they, like, don't get me wrong, I love me like traditional tomato ketchup and stuff, but like barbecue sauces, garlic mayos, garlic yogurt and mint sauce, all them kind of sauces, they're right up my street. So the fact that no one was really going for the dips, like, really made me feel excited. And then I think also like the sausage, bacon and chip pizza was definitely not everybody's cup of tea. And again, for me, that is like something that I am, oh yes, give it to me. So that was quite cool. So I got quite a few slices, filled up nicely on some pizza before the event. And then we went up and and got changed, and obviously got ready for going to the club and everything. And this is where we get on to like the real magic. So we get to the club, they let us in, and we're setting everything up and we're sound checking, and it's all exciting, and then we're sound checking the mics and everything, and then we're good to go. And then we kind of run into our first little snag. So there was some bar staff running late, and there was like some people waiting outside to come in, but they couldn't open the club because they were short staffed. So we were probably about maybe 10 minutes delayed opening, but there wasn't like loads of people outside, unfortunately, which is kind of what I expected, going off of kind of what happened last time. It wasn't busy at first last time, so. But when like we was sort of locked inside the club and we were sound checking, and someone said, oh, there's people waiting outside. I thought, oh, we've got a queue, but it wasn't a queue. There was only a couple of people waiting to come in. So we eventually open, and it's sort of gradually getting busier as the night goes on. So it starts off a little slow. You've got a few people that sort of venture into the club, and then they have a little bit of a, oh, what's on the what's it like on the dance floor, and then it's a bit early, so then they go back to the sort of like the seating areas and get themselves a drink, and then a couple more people sort of decide to venture in, and it just sort of went like that for a little while. And DJ started playing, so the boss man Crazy started off the night himself, and played some really good tracks, really just set the night off going. Then Nelly followed. Nelly played a really good set. I think he played one of the best sets I've heard him play, which was really good. Then Groove Energizer, he came onto the decks, and it was his first time gigging up here. It was his first time sort of gigging, I think, since getting back into DJing. So he was proper buzzed, and by this point it had started to get a little bit busier by this point. So it was starting to do all right, but it still could have done to have been busier. And he played again. He played an absolutely belting set. Then a guy called Kaos, who I have never laughed so much with over the weekend. He's one funny guy. So he's Portugal, but he lives in France. And he came, like, he live streams on our page. And he come all the way over for the event. So at first, he wasn't DJing, he wasn't playing. Because there was some other DJs playing, but they sadly pulled out. But he was going to come anyway, just to rave. Like, he was just going to come and support the event, and look, I play on this page, I want to come and support it. And then it just so happened that these other DJs had pulled out, and he was coming. So it was like, right, do you want a set? Do you want to play? And then the next minute, he's playing. So by this point, the club started to get quite a bit busier at this point, to the point where there's actually quite a few heads in. And big old Carlos here decides that he's going to go behind the decks, and he's going to play the hardest Spanish pokey set known to man. And don't get me wrong, like I loved it. I thought it was fucking banging. I love my Spanish pokey. I love my sets. I love hard sets. I love hard bounce. I love real heavy drops, and it really gave me a good chance to go in on the mic as well, which was really good. But unfortunately, it's not everybody's cup of tea. So from like a crowd perspective, from like a raver's perspective, it's a little bit too heavy for them. They don't know it, and people gradually decided that this wasn't for them. So they'd go and venture into the other parts of the club, and they'd get a drink, or they'd go out and have a smoke. And then the promoter of the event sort of had to sort of like go up midway through the set and just say, look, can you change it to something a little bit more like vocally for them? But I think by this point they'd kind of already been, not in a bad way, but they'd kind of been put off by his set. Like they'd heard enough of it, and I think they just wanted the next DJ to come on. That next DJ so happened to be me. So I had a little bit of decision times to do. Whatever I decided to play at home, that more or less bang, that had to go out the window, which I hadn't really planned anything anyway. But I had my thinking cap on, because there was quite a lot of people by this point, that had sort of like ventured to the club. The dance floor had emptied. The bar area with all the seats, busy. Look, people buying drinks, people socialising outside, people having a smoke, a lot of people outside, a lot of atmosphere, a lot of things going on. So I had to somehow get all of these people that are kind of like just drinking, socialising. We need to get them onto the dance floor. Before I'm about to go on, quite a few people have recognised me. You're the MC off TikTok, Scarborough Beach, what's that one you did about donkeys? Oh, you're the one, out in the garden cutting the grass kind of thing. So they were quite buzzed that they'd seen me, and quite a few people, when are you on? Are you playing here? Are you playing tonight? Yeah, I'm playing tonight. I'm doing the decks, and and I've been on the mic as well. So they were like proper buzzed at this, and they paid to come in, donated to charity, all of that good stuff. So it comes to sort of near the end of the Carlos's set, and I go up and get myself ready. And he just basically he just unplugs his headphones and just gives it to me. And, I think it might have been about I don't know, 5 minutes early, 5-10 minutes early at the max. But I think it was just buzzed. He'd played, and he was really happy, and he was buzzed to see me go on. So I went on, as you do. And me, when I go on, I have this I do this kind of little signature now, where essentially when the last track's playing, what I do is I make a loop within that track. So might be like a 4-bar loop, for example. And then what I'll do is I tighten the loop, and then I tighten the loop some more till it just kind of becomes almost like a little frequency noise. And then I pitch the pitch up, so it goes real high pitch and creates like a dee. And then I go up and down on the fader, the volume fader, and create like a little noise that's like dee 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 dee, and stop the music that way. So I do that on Carlos's last track. I've got my intro track ready, and I'm ready to go. And then I decide sort of during my set that, do you know what, like I'm just gonna like kind of do the mic at the same time, and I'm gonna kind of become one of these like weekly resident DJs, kind of, get your shots at the bar, but obviously not say that. And so I announced, like, yeah, like, who's ready? Ash Noble, I'm stepping up on the decks right about now. I want to see everybody coming over to the dance floor for this one. Um, and then I start with my intro tune, and I must have been playing my set for about 5 minutes. And I look over the balcony, and the whole club is rammed. Like, I could not shit you. Like, the whole place is heaving. Like, and the buzz. Like, I don't know, like, where the rest of all of these people had come from. But the people that were outside had come in. The people that were kind of in that like seating area, they'd all kind of like ventured to the dance floor. And the whole club just basically erupted. And I just played what has been, for me, it was the most enjoyable set, hands down, that I have ever played in a nightclub. I just feel like, for me, it wasn't about the mixing. Like, I know for a fair fact that some of my mixes were perfect. I know there was a couple of errors within the set, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But like, it was just like the tune selection. I played all these like sing-alongs that everybody knew. So the first track was an Ellie Goulding track. It was an intro track. That is just like a sort of average, a little bit of a heavyish donk tune, but it's quite nice to start a set on. And then kind of from there, I went on and I played like a remix of Pretty Green Eyes, Special D, Come With Me, Because of You. I played a remix of Mr. Brightside. I played so many absolute belters. I played some bangers. I played some of my own stuff, but they were all sing-alongs, and sort of during the set, I kept sort of hyping on the mic, and like, you should all know this one, and I want you to go mental on the drop, and you'd look over the balcony and they're raving away. Really, really good. Absolutely raving away, raving heaven. And then, everybody was just absolutely buzzing. The club owner even came up, and he went live on his phone. The woman, I think it's his other half, who kind of like runs the club for him, she came up and she was filming. Other people, like some of the other DJs, they came up, they was filming. They couldn't believe their eyes. Like, the dance floor was just erupting. I honestly, like, I don't know what happened. I must have just hit it right. I don't know how. But the dance floor just erupted. They were all singing along. And then there was one error, really bad error in the set, but we got through it. Basically, two DJs, they used the RX with a laptop, but them DJs had finished. They'd been and gone. One of them was Mark himself, because he had a stick that corrupted, so he just connected his laptop. And then there was Kaos. He also played off of the laptop as well. And then when I came on, Mark came up and said, like, we're done with the laptop now. I'll move it out of the way so it don't get knocked, or a drink don't get spilt on it. And he knocked the mains lead to the RX, and he turned the power off, and the power kind of went off for kind of like a couple of seconds. Well, a little bit longer, because the RX had to turn back on, and then I had to load the stick back up and select a track again. So I went on the mic, and I was just like, anybody got a coin for the meter? Everybody was like chanting like, Noble, 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 and I'm like, anyone got a coin for the meter? Technical difficulties, and then started the music again, and away we went. Just having an absolute ball of a time. And then it came to the end of the set, and I was thinking, what shall I do for the end of my set? It was coming up late. I only had a little bit of time left to spare on the set. And I'll post a video up of this. Well, I'm going to upload a big video with loads of clips of the set, but there's one I'm going to upload on its own, that you'll see what happened in the clip. But I was thinking, like, what do I play as the last track? And there's one track that always seems to go down well, at raves and events, and I've got to thank the layman for this because he kind of sort of prompts me to play this track. Like, we've got to finish on this track. And Ultra Beat and Flip and Phil, they recently did a remix of Bon Jovi's "Living on a Prayer." And they did like this track, and they did a remix of it, like a bootleg. Well, it got an official release, but anyway, it became like a festival tune. It became like, it was something that you would always play. So people like Ian Van Dahl would be playing it, Ultra Beat would play it, and they'd play it in their sets, and and it's a song that everybody knows and everybody just loves it. So I decided that, like, I'm gonna do my, create my loop, tighten the loop, do, as you do, and then I'm gonna go on the mic. Like, would you like to hear one more from myself? Like, would you like to hear one more from me? And they're all like, yeah, let's play one more. So I bang in this "Living on a Prayer," and I go on the mic, and I'm like, right, I want to hear everybody when the chorus comes in. I want to hear everybody on the top of their voice. I want you to sing as loud as you can for this one. The chorus comes in, and it's like, so obviously, if you know the chorus, it goes like, we're halfway there, whoa, living on a prayer, take my hand, we'll make it, I swear. And then after that, I dipped the volume of the music, so the music cut, and you just heard the full club go, like, literally shout. The whole club just went, whoa, living on a prayer. And honestly, like, that for me was the highlight of the whole entire set. Because I've done it before, I played it at places before, and you've heard people sing it, but I've never heard people sing it like that before. I've heard people sing it like that in, like, when other DJs have played it, like when Ultra Beats played it at like a festival, and you've seen like videos online. Like, I've heard the crowd erupt and sing it, and that was just, again, how you knew like how busy the club actually was. Like, it was just crazy. And I just dipped the volume, and they were absolutely singing it. And then it second verse, etc. Back to the chorus one last time, and I said, one last time, I want you to sing it like you've never sang it before, as loud as you can. Again, we're halfway there. Dip the volume, the full club. Whoa, living on a prayer. And it was just, honestly, there was like some of the other DJs had come up to watch. There was just honestly, like, it was just it was just, I can't believe, like, hearing that from like what they were singing. Hearing them sing it like that was, honestly, it was the most unbelievable feeling that I have ever felt in my whole entire life. And it made it, for me, that was just like the tip of the iceberg for me. That was for me, like, the set had already gone like really, really well, and they were all vibing, and even through the set I could hear them singing like the Pretty Green Eyes and the Come With Me. I could hear them singing Mr. Brightside, and I dipped the volume a little bit on that, but not like I did on the Living on a Prayer. But you could hear them singing it, and you could tell they was enjoying themselves, and that was a buzz in itself. I'd already thought, like, this has been some set. This is up there. Yeah, I know Mike DeScala. Oh, buzzing, man, absolutely wicked. That is sick. Mike DeScala, absolutely, honestly, man, he is some guy. But yeah, so I knew the set had already gone well, and I was already buzzed. But then when I dipped the volume, and they were singing that "Living on a Prayer," that for me, honest to God, like, I have never had a feeling like that before in my whole entire life. And then XP went on the decks after me, and his job was kind of like, I brought this crowd back, so he had the job of, Nobles brought this crowd here, we've got to keep them there. We can't just have them like filter away. And he did. He kept them there, and he played a really, really good set. I would say he played one of my favourite sets of the night, like, like to listen to. Like, obviously, I loved my set, but I ain't gonna just blow smoke up my own ass and say I played the best set of the night, because that's not the type of person I am. Although I rated my set as in, like, I felt myself like I did really well. Um, but XP played a really good set. He played some belters. He played some good sing-alongs as well that got the crowd going, which is really good. But I think one thing for me that really made my set do well was the fact that I went on the mic as well. I was hyping the crowd for the set, and I wasn't MCing. I didn't. I think there was only one track where, and even then, I wouldn't even really say I really went and spat bars. It was more, I did maybe like two lines that rhymed, if that. And I just hosted. It was just like, like, who's ready for this one? Then you're gonna know this one. If you know this one, sing along. Get out. When the drop comes in, I want you all to go crazy. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then it drops. So I wasn't really MCing. It was more like that. I just, like, during my set, like, especially if there was a good, like, a well-known song, like when Pretty Green Eyes came in, like, this one. Again, Mr. Brightside, this one, and then Living on a Prayer, like, sing at the top of your voices, like, you get ready for the melody, Let's Go, when I played, Special D, Come With Me. Absolutely fantastic, really could not fault the set in that sense. And then XP was the last DJ, and then unfortunately we closed. We all stayed behind in the club, to pack down and stuff, and obviously we had to get the, what was made on the door and stuff, and what was going to charity and all the rest of it, and everything else that was going to come out. And all I'm going to say is they did amazing on the door. I can't remember the exact full amount, but they made over a grand they made over a grand, which was, that was like the bar and the door. Like, they'd done absolutely amazing. And the donations for the charity, because that was like, that was your entry. You come in, you were donating to the charity, which was just absolutely amazing. So they did really well. So, big ups to Mark on that one, for pulling it off. And the next day night, they went to a post office and they sent the money off to the charity. I saw them physically envelope it, and they took screenshots of the Just Giving page and stuff, and what was made on there as well. And it was just amazing. So they did really well. It was just absolutely amazing vibe. And then Sunday we just sort of like spent the day chilling. We put laptops on. And we kind of like, we did some FL Studio stuff, some of us, and we all just sort of like sat and socialised, and we just basically like ate and drank, really. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, ate and drank. And then on the night time, we went out to the Weatherspoons and we had an evening meal, had some drinks in the Weatherspoons, and then we came back to the apartment, where again we just, we was a little bit tired by this point, but we did some more socialising, had even more of a laugh, and then we decided that, look, we've got to check out the next day, so, which was today, so we checked. We got ourselves to bed, and everything was all gravy. So the whole weekend, from start to finish, from even having that like just really enjoyable train ride on the way to, the nightclub, the sets, the Sunday was a really fun day because we were just having a laugh. We were just having a laugh. We were just socialising. We were just having fun. I don't even think I was in my like pajamas, and I don't even think I got dressed till like 4 in the afternoon. And neither did a lot of the other people, and we were all just having a laugh, and we were just socialising, drinking, and it was just really fun. So I want to say a massive big ups to Mark for having me. It was an absolute pleasure. and I believe that the next one is going to be in March. I can't tell you whether I'll be playing it or not because they try to give people that are like streaming on the page like the chance to sort of like come and get the club experience. I would like to play it again, like I really would. But obviously, obviously, I want the other people to get the chance to play as well. But we'll see. I mean, there's always people that like end up pulling out, and there's always people that in the end decide that that they can't make it, or for whatever reason they don't want to do it no more. So the opportunity always arises. I mean, originally I wasn't even supposed to be DJing on this one. I was actually just MCing. And it was going to be like my final MC gig, but then there was like, oh, I'll put you on to play a set because some people pulled out. You're coming up anyway, so it made sense. But I love to play them. So if you do watch this, Mark, and you do hear it, please do put me back on because I'd love it. But also don't miss out on giving. What the hell was that? Don't miss out on giving the other people the chance of going on and playing as well. So anyway, that is going to do it because my phone is starting to get low. So make sure to like, comment, share. One hell of an aftermath, and we'll see you soon. Let's do this.